Hello everybody, welcome back and welcome to week 3. So I'm glad that you are still with us, and this week we're going to start to look at planning. Okay, just to remind you again of our overview model. So we've done the background and the overview the first 2 weeks. So we are going to focus much more on planning in the next weeks coming from this week on up till week 6. So this week, in week 3, we're going to look at VUCA. So eventually we're going to reveal everything about VUCA. So welcome and enjoy the journey. The learning outcome for this unit is to investigate strategic thinking tools and strategies to plan. We're going to do this by following the learning objectives. The first one, analyze the different levels of planning, understanding the concept of VUCA. We're going to investigate the tools and techniques for strategic thinking and innovation, and then we're going to critically evaluate the public sector readiness for this strategic innovation. When we investigate any new terminology or any new idea, these are the important questions to ask, and we don't even ask them only once. So please make sure that when we introduce any concept that you keep on asking the what, the why, the who, the where, the when, and the how questions. And keep on asking them, because that is how you dig deeper into the process. So we're going to answer some of those in this short introduction. Week 3 is the focus is on planning, and it is obviously still part of monitoring and evaluation, because the detailed thinking that we do now in planning is very, very important to set the stage and to lay the foundation for the interventions to come and for many of the other things that we're going to use in monitoring and evaluation. So if we do not think innovatively, if we do not ask the right questions, and if we do not think during this process, then a lot of the monitoring and evaluation steps are going to become more difficult. So you might find that you're a little bit more stretched in this specific planning phase because we're going to do things a little bit differently. So please bear with us and enjoy the journey. The question is, what is planning? So planning is an activity where you have to make decisions. You have to think about the future. So we don't plan for the past, we plan for the future, obviously. You have to be thinking about your goals and your objectives and what you want this future to look like. We have to be creative, and we have to maintain and create the plans that we make that will take us to the future that we envisage. There are certain skills that is needed for planning, and one of these skills is that we have to be able to take the past into consideration, but we must not get stuck in the past. The best types of planning is creative. Do not do the same thing over and over again, because that is not really planning and it's not creativity. Also, collaboration is very important, because one of the most important functions of planning is to get people on board so that we don't have to push them and get them to buy in later on. If they're part of the plan in a collaborative process, the plan is usually better, and we don't have to spend a lot of energy on selling it to people afterwards. Why do we plan? There's an old saying that says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I think that is very, very true. So a plan is a roadmap that is going to help us to get to where we want to go. If we don't know where we're going, then it's very difficult to make decisions in order to direct us on the route. It's very important also that we plan, and that we do the plan to get buy-in from our stakeholders and from everyone involved. If we have a plan, then it's also quite easy to track progress, to see whether we are where we're supposed to be, whether we are going in the right direction, whether we are making the differences that we want to do, which brings us to monitoring and evaluation. So in monitoring and evaluation is impossible to do if we do not have a plan on the table that we can measure our progress. Part of the planning is also to learn and improve, to see what works and what doesn't work, and how to get to where we want to go. We plan so that we can dream and improve the current situation. The topics that we're going to explore during this week is, first of all, we're going to look at the VUCA environment. The world is changing, and it's changing fast. And VUCA is the new terminology for this changing environment that requires a different type of planning. So we're going to explore that concept, and that will form the first part of the videos that we're going to see and what you're going to look at. So strategic thinking versus strategic planning is the second part. Then we're going to look at traditional versus innovative strategic approaches, and we're going to focus more on the innovative tools and strategies. We're going to look at SOAR, which is strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. We're going to look at appreciative inquiry and a 4-action framework, which are all tools that you could use for strategic innovation. It's also very important to look at the levels of planning, because they are going to become very important later on in monitoring the evaluation as well. So we need to plan on the level of impact or strategy, and we also need to plan on the level of inputs and activities. So we're going to look at all the different levels, from input, output, activity, outcome, up to impact. And then the last but not least, you are going to do an evaluation after you've learned all of these different concepts and new ways of thinking, to see whether the public sector is ready for this innovation and disruptive change that is inevitable. The steps for success of the week, first of all, would be to read the article on redefining leadership, strategic thinking in today's VUCA world, that you will find on your system. I've prepared a short video for you on the VUCA environment that will also complement the reading that you've done. After this, the first thing to do is to complete activity 1, which will require you to develop a 1-page poster to show the difference and the similarities and the features of strategic thinking and strategic planning. Then you will be required to investigate the tools and techniques for strategic thinking. Again, I've prepared a short video for you on some of these tools, but after you've done those investigations, then you can complete activity 2. After that, you will be required to read an e-book on planning levels and the types of plans, and then there will be a short knowledge review for you to complete. The final activity is activity 3. That is then an activity where you're going to evaluate the readiness of the public sector for all of this innovation that is going to come. Part 1 will be to answer the questions and then to post them to the discussion forum. After you've posted the comments, you will be able to see the comments of others. So then the second part of the activity will be to respond to 2 other students and comment on their specific answers that they gave. So the weight of the activities would for this week would earn you 5 marks if you complete all of those. Good luck for the week. It is quite a full week, packed full of new ideas and new things. So please make sure that you give yourself enough time, and that you also make sure that you enjoy the journey and have fun.